This is Kathy Biehl of EmpowermentUnlimited.net with Astro Insight for the week of June 26, 2023. This week begins and ends with claps of lightning, with surprises and breakthroughs and things being turned on their head and plot twists. And did I mention surprises? All of it highly personally impacting you. Not in a bad way. Look at this as, if you're familiar with the tarot, the figure in the Eight of Swords, the figure that is blindfolded and her hands are tied, but her feet are open, figuring out that she can walk and coming up with a way to rip the blindfold off. Empowering, liberating, awakening. All good things in the long run. Not surprisingly, there is an awful lot of activity in between these Uranian bolts, and yes, some of you have already sussed out that Uranus, the cosmic quick change artist, is behind the beginning and the end of the week, which begins with a square from Mars in Leo to Uranus in Taurus. There is a push to get something done, breakthrough, something happens, possibly involving values, possibly involving money and technology. Lots of stuff there that motivates people to just shove on through. This is not a gentle moment. It's a nobody puts baby in the corner moment, which actually defines an awful lot of what is going to be happening in July. Our minds, our thinking, our perspectives, our information sources, our conversations are all playing catch-up with the current state of the world as this is going on. Mercury is in an adjustment aspect or an inconjunct to Pluto, which is retrograde and has just recently backed back into Capricorn for a several-month review and cleanup of whatever has been going on with our foundations, infrastructure, and institutions. So you're thinking about things differently. There's a very strong reminder that the world isn't as it has been, and it's time to update your thinking. And then we get all touchy-feely. Mercury moves into Cancer, not a particularly comfortable place for the cosmic messenger. Ruled by the moon, there is an emotional, tender, soft, sensitive, nostalgic quality to our thinking, to the words we're encountering and actually saying, to how we're passing information back and forth. This can be sweet, this can be gentle, this can be kind, this can be reaching for security, being very anxious, being pissy and crabby. Fortunately, as Mercury starts his time in this sign, the skies tell us to get over ourselves. We get a number of opportunities, and in fact, they're more than opportunities. They're simply developments that have us working with whatever Saturn in Pisces has meant to us. Saturn is now retrograde, and we are coming to grips with issues of who's the boss, issues of containing boundlessness, perhaps issues of addiction or escapism for some people, but whatever major issues involving authority and particularly personal authority, personal responsibility, you have been encountering and maybe dodging since early March. We now have moments of assimilating those new conditions into our definitions of ourselves when the sun trines retrograde Saturn in Pisces on the 28th, and stepping up and putting our big kid pants on and speaking from positions of responsibility, commitment, taking accountability, acting like grown-ups when Mercury trines Saturn on the 30th. Neptune, the ruler of Pisces and currently in command of Saturn, stations retrograde on that day. This retrograde is frequently a really subtle one. Neptune is going to be retrograde until the beginning of December. So just know that the ocean currents inside of you and in your life and in the world are shifting. And back to those moments of adulting, back to that process of putting big kid pants on, your sense of yourself and your thinking all kind of line up into one, okay, I am in control of X, even though X might be a very small sector of reality. When the Sun and Mercury meet in Cancer on July 1st, and both of them make opportunity aspects to the guy who ups the ante of any action he gets near, Jupiter, in the very earthbound, very worldly, materially focused sign of Taurus. Food is an issue with both Cancer and Taurus. You may be nurturing yourself, nurturing others, communicating with food. This is a holiday weekend in the United States, so that is possible. But something in these two sextiles invite expanding your emotional expression, speaking more and more from the heart, being tender, being nurturing, and most of all, applying those characteristics to yourself. And then we get the final thunderclap of the week. Venus squares Uranus on July 2nd. And this breaks whatever has chained us to certain approaches, attitudes, values, experiences of specific relationships, money deals, creativity. This is enormously awakening. Jolt, insight, epiphany, hearts breaking open. It's all good. If this leads to a relationship fracturing, look at the situation as getting you out of something that was not appropriate for your creative spark. And there's a connection between whatever shakes loose, breaks open at the very beginning of the week, and what happens over the weekend. It is highly probable that some bold, liberating action early in the week causes the systems that you're operating in to adjust themselves and to make room for it. And sometimes the making room is separation. Sometimes the making room is breaking through a wall. Sometimes the making room is reordering how things are being done to allow for more expression of the self. And that is an underlying theme of the month of July. Expressing yourself, being yourself, enjoying yourself. And this week breaks you out of something, some things that hinder that expression to make it possible for you to enjoy yourself, your life, flourish, express, be more creative, and maybe have relationships that value you. Homing thought of the week, that was then, this is now. Song of the week, Everything Possible by Fred Small. It's an indie, kind of not very well-known song, meant for children, speaks to adults. I have actually performed this at a funeral. And the image of the week is selecting outfits that fit a promotion you're getting at your job. You'll find more about this in my forecast for the month of July, which is already up at my site, empowermentunlimited.net, where you can order my talk explaining Saturn in Pisces in terms of its historical trends and what it means for us as individuals now, with a special look at people having Saturn returns and people who were born in the 1960s, which I know a lot of you were. And you can also listen to these weekly forecasts, sign up for my mailing list, and book a session with me. I'm Kathy Biehl, a professional astrologer with more than 30 years' experience. I host the show Celestial Compass on Om Times Radio on the first and third Monday of every month at 5 p.m. Eastern. I also host lively conversation on Facebook at Empowerment Unlimited and the group the Astro Insight Lounge. I have lots of bonus content at patreon.com/Kathy Biehl, and I'm really grateful to the people who support my work there. I'm on Instagram at @KABiehl and on YouTube at the Professional Aquarian Channel. Talk to you next week.